Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Two Across, a podcast where two friends sitting on opposite sides, generally of the Atlantic, catch up over a crossword. Although today, we are sitting on opposite sides of an ottoman. So I am Rob, sitting in London.
And I'm Theo, also sitting in London, opposite Rob. IRL. As
IRL.
the kids would say.
Yes.
Good to see you, man.
Oh, good to see you as well. Again,
yeah.
after, as we said just in the green room before getting on, like a day and a half straight of hanging out and talking. So we're hoping we have things to actually continue to talk about here on the pod.
Hopefully we haven't exhausted all our conversation topics and we're just going to be sitting here in awkward silence, occasionally doing crossword clues. But no, it's been a lovely couple of days and we celebrated your milestone yesterday.
Indeed.
48 years young. So
Yes.
Many congratulations on that again.
Yes, thank you.
It was an honour to spend it in your company.
Yeah, a great day too.
It was a great day. We played disc golf at our spiritual home of Lloyd Park in Croydon, where in some ways our friendship was forged.
Indeed.
In those COVID-blighted early days.
Wearing sort of gumboots in the winter after cycling down, because they had the rule of two in the UK. So for non-UK listeners, that was the exercise rule. You could go out and have exercise with one other human being who was not in your bubble. And so we chose to have the exercise by cycling through sort of freezing January, February weather down to Lloyd Park in Croydon to throw discs in sort of Wellington boots. Mucky stuff. But oddly enough, that was the beginning of a great love for the sport.
And a great friendship to boot.
Well, there you go.
And it was a strange old time, needless to say. So that was lovely yesterday. And then we went for dinner with some of your fellow colonial mates.
Indeed.
I was the sole token Brit in a pub that was bedecked with Union Jacks. I think to mark VE Day, or maybe they were just there all the time, I'm not sure. That's
what I was trying to figure out. Was it a regular feature? Because when I got my birthday cake, they also gave me a Union Jack sort of pseudo bowler hat to wear. So I don't know if that's just their shtick.
They did. You had a sort of Charlie Chaplin bowler made of plastic, obviously, with a Union Jack, which was quite the image for your birthday.
It was.
Yes.
Strange how nationalism can make you feel so uncomfortable.
Speaking of which, should we address the topic of the summit at the White House that took place this week?
Yeah. That was yesterday.
You were watching it in our kitchen, and I was kind of watching some bits of it as well. And it was quite the spectacle with the classic arrangement of Trump in the chair next to Carney with his henchman on the nearby sofa, ready to jump in. Although nobody could jump in because nobody else could get a word in edgeways.
No, including his guest. It was sort of the most sort of ungracious hosting you can imagine. It was boorish, I think is the word that you would use. You know, it's like you invite someone in your home so you can declaim loudly upon your various opinions and conspiracy theories, not giving them a single opportunity to speak, but sort of speaking for them, which I think there was a lot of that happening. And I was wondering about the sort of general strategy. Like, you have to imagine they scenario plan the heck out of that. The invitee. So whenever someone is going to be in that situation, they'd sort of consider all the options. And how do you address a situation where you know you're going to be with someone that's not going to let you get a word in edgeways, but is going to frame all of the issues from their perspective as though you've agreed to it, which was kind of the way things were. And of course, Carney got his 2 words in, which were basically to say, well, actually, kind of most Canadians have largely said that they don't really want to be the 51st state, so that's kind of not going to happen.
Canada is not for sale. He got that line in, which I thought was very smart, because that's your headline right there.
Yeah.
And then Trump wanged on about how never say never and all of that stuff, and it's like, no, we are saying never.
But then he went into all kinds of stream of consciousness stuff. I mean, I was fast forwarding through it because it was irritating, but there was a whole thing about California and some plan that Trump had to divert water there, and because Gavin Newsom didn't listen to him, that's why they had wildfires. And obviously the normal sort of non sequiturs that were flying in every single direction related to sort of how people had ignored him or wronged him and so forth. And it was sort of like, imagine just sitting there when you're a world leader and you're sort of wondering, like, you could sort of, I spent much of it watching Carney's face and just try to think what was going through his mind. Maybe he'd sort of gotten a mantra that he'd worked on beforehand. And they were sort of like, Mark, you know, if you get in these situations, you sort of repeat this nonsense poem in your head or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Just hum this little tune in your head and it'll all go away. You can just pretend it isn't happening. He really is he's just such an odd man, and the way that he communicates is so strange.
Yeah.
And
odd is a good word.
yeah, it's the only word. Well, it's that thing, it was Tim Volz who just called him a weird guy, which seemed to nail it. But well done, Mark Carney, I thought, for at least, you know, standing up to him in as much as that was possible, albeit in the kind of classic shit sandwich way of giving him the important information between two compliments about his standing on the world stage or something, which was very smart. We were drawing comparisons between the negotiation with Trump and the negotiation with a young child. I happen to have one in residence here. But I think that was probably unfair on the young child.
Yes.
Because actually my son is much more able to deal with realities and disappointments if he has to.
Yes.
Whereas it feels in the kind of Trumpian universe that any kind of negativity, any hint of reality is kept firmly at bay. So he's able just to carry on blindly.
Where every day is Festivus.
Every day.
If you go back to the Seinfeld whole thing of Festivus, and one of the annual rites was the airing of grievances. So, you know, the pater familias had his opportunity to explain to everyone how they had wronged him.
Yeah.
And I think that is in the Trump verse, every day to a certain extent is Festivus.
It is. Now, our own personal Festivus today is our mission to level the scores in the crossword.
It is.
It's very fortuitous we happen to be doing this one in the same room.
Yes.
Because this is a real clutch crossword today. I believe would be the sporting parlance. And the scores are 14-13.
They are.
So if we win today, we will draw level at 14 all for the series, which is very, very big. Huge. Considering we were, I think, 5 or possibly 6 in deficit.
We were.
A month or two ago. So
with legitimate grievances against the crossword setter for some of the things that were thrown up in our paths.
Oh yeah, there was a very bumpy patch there where we were coming up against some very, very dubious clues, I felt. Incidentally, this morning's Wordle was an interesting one, if any Wordlers are out there. Obviously, this podcast will be going out a couple of days after we record, but it was a bit of a head scratcher, and I was glad to have Rob on hand to navigate me through it, because it was one of those where the same 2 letters came up for 5
consecutive ones with no new letters added. But thankfully, we had the help of a very agile 5-year-old who was able to.
The aforementioned young child was on hand to give us the benefit of his infinite wisdom. So
and his small fingers to navigate the keyboard.
Indeed, they did very, very slowly.
Yes. So shall we move from one form of word game to another and get into this week's crossword?
Let's do it.
Let's go to the crossword, because crossing words is fun.
All right. So we are on Guardian Quick Crossword number 17,161, and I think, Theo, it's yours today to let folks know how we do this thing.
Okay, so we do this by me setting a timer of 30 minutes and then trying to do it. And that's really about all you need to know. And we do encourage people to play along with us, because it's just a bit easier to make sense of what's going on. But obviously that is not an obligation. So you do you, and I'm going to start the timer off now. Rob, kick us off.
Kick off. Okay. Well, why don't we go, let's try 11 across, just randomly, somewhere in the middle. Sometimes it's fun to start in the middle.
As has been pointed out several times, we rarely, in fact, we never get a 2 across.
Never.
Because that's just not a thing in crosswords. It would be very difficult to do a 2 across.
But 1 + 1 is 2, so maybe 11 across is a good place to start.
Very good thinking. Right. So this is Desolate, Marvel's Iron Man, Tony blank.
Yeah.
And I think as a Marvel adjacent household, I can get this. I say
Yeah.
Marvel adjacent because I couldn't really give a flying toss about Marvel, but
No.
my children do. So this is Tony Stark, is that right?
I believe it is Tony Stark.
A la Robert Downey Jr.,
Yes, sir.
who is, I believe, playing a different character in the next Marvel film.
Is he?
So obviously Avengers Endgame was not the Endgame. There is
Okay.
going to be a new Avengers something.
Incredible.
God, I know, who'd have thought?
Dear God.
And his character is not Iron Man because I believe, spoiler alert, he came to a grisly end in
Oh, did he?
Endgame.
Did he?
So he's now playing something else, which is slightly strange. But anyway,
Tungsten Man.
Tungsten Man. Oh, that was something I was going to mention, that we, on May the 4th, being this week, we did duly watch some of Star Wars.
Oh, very nice.
The very first Star Wars, or I should say the fourth,
A New Hope.
A New Hope.
Yeah.
And I did find it as baffling as ever, I have to say. But nevertheless, it was quite sweet to sit there with the kids watching Star Wars, introducing them to this.
To that universe, to the evil of Darth Vader, who will haunt them for the rest of their lives because they will spend their entire lives living through episode after episode of prequel and sequel and...
Well, it does feel like a foundational story in the modern age, that they just need to have an awareness of the basics, so that they can, keep up with the references that will inevitably get made.
Much as
throughout
kids
their lives.
used to have to know about the Bible. Now you have to
Indeed.
know about Star Wars.
It's so true. Yeah. Star Wars and Marvel have supplanted the Gospels.
Yeah. On the 5th day, the Emperor created Darth Vader.
Yeah.
On the 6th, his only begotten son and twin sister.
Yeah. I was really enjoying the overacting of the Stormtroopers. That was something I really noticed watching it this time. That there's a lot of very, very good,
Yeah.
I went to drama school. I'm going to bloody well show it.
I'm going to own this laser to the plastic armor.
Yeah. There's a lot of, it's some excellent OTT extra acting in
I always
in
thought
those
about
early
that.
scenes.
Like when I was a kid, like how is that guy being felled by a sort of scorch mark to his plastic armor? Like how is that actually killing him?
True. Now we've wasted 4 minutes talking about Star Wars, so we do need to get back on track.
Back to it.
5 down, chart of operations sequence 4-7.
Oh wow, chart of operations sequence.
That's a flow diagram, is it?
Oh wow.
Is that right?
Wow.
I don't know where that came from. I dredged it up from like GCSE.
No, Theo, that's because you secretly long to be a process optimizer.
I've been thinking about flow this week because our toilet got blocked and was unblocked this morning by Darren, who turned up with his large pressure hose.
Yes, we thank Darren with his large hose.
Shout out to Darren with his large hose.
Well, you've given us the first letter of designer, which is 5 across, 11 letters long, starting with F. So, yeah. That's a big word.
It is a big word. Not seeing it straight away.
No.
Oh, we've got a nice anagram at 1 down, though.
Ooh.
This might help us. It's an anagram of rats.
Now, it feels like there's only one, I think, is...
Star?
Well, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Which is just rats backwards.
Which is just rats backwards. And then that makes our designer F space T and then 8 spaces.
Gosh.
Can you think of anything else that would go? Because I was wondering if designer could be fashion something, but...
Yeah, like...
Oh, it could be Tsar, Theo. Like the Tsar.
Oh, so it could... yeah, you're right. So it could still be fashionista?
I wonder... Oh, that's not bad. What about designer, though? Would designer... I mean, a fashionista would work.
Is a fashionista, though, more of a kind of someone who is fashionable?
Wearing the designs.
And wearing the designs.
And curating which of the designs they wear for maximum effect.
Let's keep an open mind on that one. 2 down. I'm so, brackets, not sorry.
Yeah.
So that could be this is a complete punt, but could be sarcasm?
Could be, yeah. Maybe.
Not sure.
But or is it just a synonym of what the person would say? Because again, if we have fashion, that second word would be an I if it's fashion anything.
Yeah.
What about this? 9 across. I think we can get this one, which would give us a letter. It is a 7-letter word, second letter D, and the clue is Far Eastern green beans. I think people like to snack on these sometimes.
Oh, what are they called? Edamame.
Yeah, edamame.
Is that right? Edamame, sorry.
Now, is that Eda, like A-M-A-M-E?
Edamame.
Okay, so it is.
I think.
It is.
Or is it Ede?
Well, I was wondering about that.
Oh, I think it's Ede, isn't it? Edamame. E-D-E.
I don't know about that. I think it's Eda.
You think it's
Because
E-D-A?
you can be edamame and it would, that's kind of, I was thinking potentially, but it's not edamame. I'm inclined to stay with the A, but up to you.
Let's go A. Okay. Oof, that would be hard if we.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. It might be moot depending on where we get with the rest of this stuff.
Right, 10 down. In humble manner, 8 letters beginning with the M from edamame.
Yeah. Like meekly, mildly, both of those fit.
Or don't fit, rather.
Both fit. Sorry, both of those fit the clue, but not the space.
I see.
That? Sorry.
Meekness? But that doesn't really fit.
No, because it's not in manner. Ooh. Honeyed tones. I think I know this. It's 18 across, 11 letters long, starting in M.
Is it mellifluous?
I think it is.
Yeah?
Is it mellifluous or mellifluous?
Fluous.
Mellifluous, and I must be Lee.
Oh, does it fit though? Is it double L?
It's a good question.
Mare, double L, I, F, L, O.
U-O-U-S. So M-E-L-L-I-F-L-U-O-U-S.
No, it must be U-O-U-S.
Yeah, U-O-U-S.
You said that.
Yes.
Okay, that fits. Yes, I think that's right.
Mellifluous. Oh, wow.
It's a lovely word.
I thought this was mellifluous, but that looks better.
Quite-
Mellifluous.
Quite onomatopoeic.
It is. It's quite lovely. Because it does sort of drip off your tongue like honey. So in a humble manner, now has a second last letter of L, and I would imagine it's L-Y. So something.
Lee.
Yeah, something Lee. Okay. Anything we can get from...
Well, 16 across is a double worder, which is
Yeah.
quietly curt dismissal. 5-3. Which could be...
Could it end in off?
Yes. Like a... Oh, quietly curt dismissal. A shrug off or something.
Yeah.
But that doesn't quite fit.
But that...
Give you the... something
Brush off?
Brush off. Yes.
What do you think?
I love that.
Okay.
The brush off. Yes.
The old
Perfect.
brush off.
The old...
So then...
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
in humble manner would then have a fourth last letter of S. So it would be M, 4 spaces, S space, L space. In humble manner. Could be...
I'm so humble.
I know, like Uriah Heep.
Yeah.
How about 13 across could give us a letter. T or golf club holder. 13
Got
across.
it. Caddy.
Yeah, tea caddy.
Could have done with a caddy yesterday to share wisdom with me on our
Yes.
stumbling attempt to throw frisbees around Croydon.
Alas.
So in humble manner, we've now got all the letters we're going to get, which is
Yeah.
M blank, D blank, S blank, L blank.
Yes.
Come on, what is that?
Are you seeing it? Oh, modestly.
Modestly, of course. Yes, okay. So...
We don't want people screaming it out on their cycle ride
we
home.
don't. 18 minutes left.
Okay. 15 down to finish this section, which would be a little win. It is Quipster. Space O space I space.
And again, we've got both the letters we're going to get for that.
Yeah, we're not getting anything
Quipster.
else.
A comic.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
Just fill in another quick one, which is 7 across.
7 across.
Sow's partner, 4 letters, blank O, blank R.
Yeah.
Must be Boar.
I would imagine. Is that B-O-E-R?
B-O-A-R.
B-O-A, of course. Yeah, B-O-E-R is
that would
the
be
South
boa,
African farmer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, boar. Yes, yes.
So, okay, here's another one. 12 down, related to that. Wild ox.
Yes.
7 letters, 4th letter F, 6th letter L.
Yeah. City in the U.S. on Lake Erie as well. Home of the Bills and the Sabres.
Oh, Buffalo. Yes.
You got to think.
Of course, yeah. Must be.
Yeah, you'd imagine.
Okay, 17 down. Kennel noise with a 3rd letter of O. Woof.
I think so, yeah.
Speaking of which, my loyal companion Zeus lying at my side. In fact, I got star spotted yesterday on our round in Croydon by a dog walker who said, "Were you on the doghouse?" And I very modestly said, "Yes, I was." And she was very sweet about it. So
She was.
it was a shame Zeus wasn't there to also bask in the fame, but
Yes.
it was a bit of a long walk for him. Bless him, he's only got little legs.
It has.
Right. Moving swiftly on. 6 down. Weights system based on the pound or 7,000 grains. 11. This is another of these measurement things.
Yeah.
Actually, is it just measurements?
Nope.
No, that
Doesn't fit.
I should say it's 11. Yeah, 11 letters. 5th letter R and a final letter of S. Weights system based on the pound. So what?
I mean, your first thinking would be imperial, but
Well, yeah.
but
That doesn't even nearly
it
fit.
doesn't even nearly fit.
And 7,000 grains. So it must be related to grain or
Yeah.
corn
Oh
or
gosh.
it'll come. Let's try and get more acrosses.
Yes.
Here's one for you. You're good on coins. Old Spanish gold coin used in American colonies.
I'm not though.
No.
This one is befuddling me because I saw it earlier and I hoped we could get some more letters before we tackled it because at present we have none.
And it's not a passato or something like that. Or
No, I just think it's not long enough. Well, let's try and get some downs. We got 3 down. Cancel, comma, make void, 5 letters. So what you would do to a check, for instance,
no, what would you do to a check? Go on.
you would annul it,
Annul.
or a marriage. Or I guess
Right.
yeah.
Is,
I don't know.
So that must be a double N.
I believe it is a double N. Now, I don't know if that's right, but it fits. And that gives us at least something. It gives us a U as the 3rd letter of our 8-letter long Old Spanish coin used in American colonies.
Oh, God, Rob.
Yeah, well, let's keep going. Your fashionista is still in the running, BTW. Designer.
It's not, though, is it? Because the N is a letter too far along.
No, it's not. It's perfectly placed.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it is then.
Because that would really work, and that would give us an A as the first letter of our weight system based on the pound.
Right. Let's pencil fashionista.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, time is getting a little bit tight. We're now on 13 minutes.
Oh, it could be fashionable too, like designer, like a designer coat or something.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think?
Fashionable or Easter. Yeah, but either way, fashion something.
Yeah.
No,
No?
I do like your thinking, because fashionista doesn't really... Let's try and get 2 down.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay, well, we know it's an I.
so not sorry.
Yeah, that one's befuddling me completely.
4 down, set apart, 8
Yeah.
letters, blank B
Or blank S.
or blank S.
Set apart. So it could be separate something to set it aside, but it also could be to distinguish oneself or in some way. Set apart. Or offset, you know, that kind of thing.
Delineate or...
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah. I'm there.
So I'm going to summarise what we've got left.
Yeah.
We've got one more here, which I think we can get. 17 across is stop galloping, ! Which begins with W and it's 4 letters.
Yeah.
So you would think, whoa.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
WOAH.
What one would say to one's horse.
We also have routine, 14 across, which is 7 letters, second letter U.
Yeah. Now, the second letter U suggests it could be a Q to start it. That often happens, but not necessarily.
And it could be, it's a routine, as in something you do every day.
Or
it
something
could be
something that's routine, like straightforward, exactly. Could be a skating routine. Could be all kinds of things. Routine.
Okay, so I'm going to summarise what we've got left.
Yeah, do that.
For our final 10 minutes. And they are 2 down. I'm sorry. I'm so, brackets, not sorry. 7 letters. Second letter I. 6th letter M. Then we have Old Spanish coin used in American colonies. 8 letters. 3rd letter U.
Yeah.
We have set apart. 8 letters. Second letter B. 6th letter T. We have weight system based on the pound or 7,000 grains. 11 letters beginning with E. 5th letter R. There's an A in there and it ends in S. And then we have routine, which is 7 letters, second letter U. So we've got a fair amount to do. But any one of these could open up the whole can of worms.
Yeah, it's just getting one of them because it does feel that we're close.
What is this weight system?
I have no...
Empirical something?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's either A or E, right? Don't forget our fashionista.
Because you can get M here. That works. It's the question of what comes after that.
Yeah, but is that a weight system, empirical? I mean, it's more of a deduction system.
And also, I mean, it doesn't end in S.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Spanish coins are annoying as well. I was going to say bullion, but that's not.
Oh, like gold bullion, yeah.
Used in American colonies.
I know.
We
just need that first letter, I think. Which we would get if we could get this.
I'm so not sorry.
Yeah.
So if you're being sarcastic, you're also being... I mean, it could just be... What's a synonym for unapologetic?
Yeah. But it sounds like something you would say. Like, it sounds like a synonym, like the thing that you would say if you were so not sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I feel like set apart could end in TLE.
Yes, it could. You would imagine it's got to start with a vowel.
Yeah.
E or A or something of that nature.
Rob.
Set apart. Oh dear. No, this is just going to make for some rather punishing listening.
Yes, apologies to everyone. We've got 8 minutes, 20 seconds left. So
now, of course, that depends. Because I'd penned in fashionista, and of course, it could be
fashionable.
Yeah, it could be fashionable, like designer. Oh man.
So this old Spanish coin, it could be like it could start with ST. It could start with
Yeah. Although, it will never start with S if it's Spanish. It'll be ES.
Okay.
That is one thing that the Spanish will not do.
It's just a
just
line in the sand.
Yeah, they'll do anything
Spaniards.
for coins, but they won't do that.
Routine, I feel, should be gettable.
Yeah, completely. Which one was routine? Is the one with
It's 14 across,
Yeah.
second letter U.
7 letters long. Routine.
Like, you think... Oh, come on.
Oh, I know. It's just getting that first bloody letter.
I know.
Routine. Like standard.
Yeah, you're right. It could be a Q something.
Time check here.
Time check is 7 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Roughly a minute per word.
But what weight system based on the pound? Weights system based on the pound or 7,000 grains. I mean, grains of what, right? Because I mean,
No,
I'm wondering if it's something used in agriculture. Just because grains, grains of what? Like grains of rice, grains of I don't know.
Yeah, something agricultural.
Yeah,
Which again is kind of should be my area, but I don't have any clue.
yeah, but it could be from another country. Could be a foreign weight system. Yeah, I mean, I'm just completely stumped by that one.
I'm stumped by all of these.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Incredibly annoying.
It really is.
It's especially annoying because, as I say, just one would unlock everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I'm sure there are listeners sitting there with their heads in their hands.
Yes, no doubt.
How can they not get that?
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so not sorry.
Yeah. I know. Like what?
God. 5 minutes.
I'm so not sorry. Like,
Thanks, Zeus. What do you think? No. Useless.
yeah, no help. No
No
help
help
there.
at
That wasn't a snort of, come on, boys.
I can't believe that the crossword we get to do in person
Yeah, is this
turns out to be
with this
the
awful
most frustrating one I think I remember having.
Yeah, just
We
feels
don't
like
normally have this many left.
we'll have to start again, you know?
Maybe just wipe the whole episode.
Yeah.
Old Spanish gold coin used in American colonies.
It could be something to do with dollar, like could dollar maybe be the origin of it's got to be some weird spelling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to wipe fashionable
Yeah.
because I don't think it's helping.
No. I don't think it is helping.
I'm tempted to suggest we just call this off now because
I think we might.
I
think we
think
might.
we're going to get this,
not,
are we? And we can't. I mean, we've only got 3 minutes left.
Yeah. Old Spanish coin.
It's funny, isn't it? It just keeps saying
Set apart, isolated.
Oh,
What do you
Rob!
think about that? Because I had that L in for potential dollar something.
Right, that means it is fashionista then.
Okay, then it's definitely fashionista. So isolated, routine, a humdrum. Space U, space
hello.
D. Okay, wait. It's just you're giving up that sort of got me back into the saddle.
There you go. I must remember that for future. Fashion, right.
Yeah.
Humdrum, where was that?
That was 14 across.
Yeah, humdrum, well done.
Okay.
Routine, yeah. So now we just have 3.
Yes.
So the weight system begins with A,
Yeah.
which
So
could be something.
I mean, just no clue. Weight system based on the pound or 7,000 grains.
I mean, that sounds almost sort of biblical, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But the pound. That's the thing that's
We've
frustrating.
got 2 minutes left and we have 3 to get.
Oh my God.
I'm so, brackets, not sorry. This Spanish coin.
Yeah.
See, bullion almost fits.
Yeah, it does almost fit, doesn't it?
Ebullion.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds mad, but
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I'm so not sorry.
So, woe, you spelt that WHOA?
WOAH.
WOAH, eh?
I think. But is it whoa? It could be WHOA.
I don't know. That's how I'd spelt it, but maybe it's wrong.
I mean, this is all academic because
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so annoying. Like a Ducat kind of thing?
1 minute.
Oh man.
Weight system based on the pound or 7,000 grains. Come on.
Yeah.
Beginning with A.
A space 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 R space U space
Well,
O space S.
well, I've got it A. So woe would be
Oh, yeah,
W-O-A-A.
right. So it keeps you see, yeah,
but
you're right, you're right.
either way.
Yeah.
So it could be A
could be O or if it-
TS or A.
or it could be OUS. If it's oh yeah, we're agreed on this. Oh.
I think this is a word we're not going to know. I mean, I think there's two words in here that we're not going to know.
Yeah, definitely. And we have two down as well.
This is
I'm
annoying.
so not sorry.
10 seconds left.
I'm so not sorry about that.
It's very Mean Girls.
It is very Mean Girls.
We've been watching Mean Girls
Oh
recently.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. That's so fetch. Ugh. There it is, Rob.
All right. Well, where do you want to start with in terms of revealing? Wow.
Well, should we start with I'm so not sorry? Because
Sure. Let's
I
do that.
feel that's going to be... Oh, come on.
What is it?
It's diddums.
Diddums?
I don't like that.
What the hell is that?
So when you go, oh, diddums, like a patronising thing a school kid
Oh,
might
really?
say to another school kid who...
That's something that you say.
Well, yes, but not... I mean, come on, God.
Wow.
You can do better
Yeah.
than that.
Okay. Diddums is not
Oh,
something.
diddums. It's like a sarcastic expression.
Oh wow. I've
Yeah,
never.
it's a horrible word.
I've never heard diddums.
So that gives our Spanish coin the first letter of D.
D space U space L space space space.
Any clues?
Nope. That doesn't help me at all. I mean, it continues to confirm the potential for dollar to be something, but
It's a doubloon.
doubloon. It's
No.
like DOUBLOON.
Exactly.
Okay. I had heard of a doubloon
We
before.
could have stumbled around for many, many more minutes.
Yeah,
and
I had
not
heard of a
got
doubloon
that.
before, but I wouldn't have.
Which
thought of
gives
that.
our weight system is now A blank O blank R blank U blank A blank S.
Would you want to check whoa quick?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll get the spelling of that. Oh yeah, you're right. You were right. It's WHOA.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa there, boy.
Yeah. Good job with whoa though. I was thinking walk, but I was thinking that's not a horse thing.
So it is an O.
Yeah. So A space O space R space U space O space S is a weight system based on the pound or
So
7,000
something
grams.
us at the end, maybe.
Maybe. Or
So well done at
ORS.
home if you got this.
Yeah, really well done at home.
I'm
if
about
you
to
got
reveal
this.
No, definitely never heard of this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce it. Avoir du poids.
Oh yeah, avoir du poids. Damn it. I mean,
So it's French.
I have heard of that.
Avoir du poids.
That's literally having some weight.
I mean, that is tricky.
The avoir du poids weight system. So there you go. I guess that
is
was
tricky.
It was a French weight system. Avoir du poids. So we have a few things to research. Like, what was avoir du poids?
Yeah.
That feels like there's an answer there that needs having. Oh,
Well, that's a
man.
big fat loss.
That was a big fat loss.
But I mean, I don't think those were words that we knew fundamentally.
No, I'm not thrilled about it. So, avoir du poids is a measurement system of weights that uses pounds and ounces as units. It was first commonly used in the 13th century AD and was updated in 1959. The definition of the pound and ounce became standardized in countries which used the pound as a unit of mass. The international avoir du poids pound was then created. It is the everyday system of weights used in the United States. It is still used in varying degrees in everyday life in the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. So the actual name for your weight system, Theo, is avoir du poids.
Crosswords done. That was fun. Now let's have a chat.
Now, Rob, you did have a pin from last time.
I did. Yeah, let's run away from this awful
This
crossword.
Terrible crossword.
Yeah, as quickly as we can.
Yes.
So I want to provide a really quick update on the spruce goose, which
Please
we
do.
discussed in the last one. So the spruce goose, which I had suggested, I think was one of the biggest or widest planes that had flown, and I'm sort of partly right on that. So it was a Hughes H-4 Hercules, which was a prototype of a strategic airlifting boat or airlift flying boat. So it was basically a cargo plane that was supposed to take off the ground, built by the Hughes Aircraft Company. and it was intended for use in World War II, but it was never completed in time. It was actually made out of wood because of restrictions on aluminium, and Hughes was quite keen on this process. So it was the largest ever flying boat made, and it had the longest wingspan of a plane up to that point at 320 feet. And in fact, it had the longest wingspan of a plane until 2019, when the Strato launch was first flown.
Gosh.
So there you go. And apparently Hughes was completely obsessed with this plane, even though it only flew once. It flew 1 mile for 26 seconds at 70 feet above the water, which he personally piloted, because apparently Hughes piloted personally every plane made by his aircraft company on its maiden run. He was but he, as I think some people may know, became quite a eccentric and sort of strange character. As
seen in The Aviator.
Yes.
He's played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and I have actually never seen that, but I have seen the episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns starts taking on Howard Hughes-like qualities and starts wearing Kleenex boxes for shoes and is worried about all the germs that he sees on Smithers' face that are speaking to him. But anyway, Hughes, amongst his other eccentricities, really was obsessed with this plane, and he believed that it was flight-worthy even though the government decided not to fund it. So he kept a full-time crew of 300 workers, all sworn to secrecy, to maintain the aircraft in flying condition in a climate-controlled hangar. The crew was reduced to 50 workers in 1962 and finally disbanded in 1976 after Hughes' death. So the Spruce Goose was basically kept in flying condition by a group of employees paid to do this, sworn to secrecy for nearly 30 years.
I mean, that is bonkers.
Yeah, kind of cool.
But kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think the Spruce Goose does make an appearance in The Aviator.
Does it?
But I can't quite remember. I saw it many, many years ago.
Yeah.
I mainly remember the scenes towards the end where he's kind of ensconced in a luxury hotel, peeing into bottles because he doesn't want to leave the room that he's in and becomes a complete recluse.
So it's like Brian Wilson-esque.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which I think, that's quite a common phenomenon in these kind of eccentric, wealthy individuals who gradually retreat from the world to the point where, they're peeing into bottles. I mean, who knows? Maybe that fate will awaits others of us. We were talking yesterday about social anxiety and the way that it can debilitate you to the point of wanting to preferring just to stay in the house rather than the risk going out and embarrassing oneself in front of others. So I do have a measure of sympathy with the desire to bar oneself into a room and
which is kind of crazy. Like, if you think of us as a sort of species, like there's no, maybe there are actually, someone will probably respond on twoacrosspod if you have thoughts on this, but as far as I know, there's no animal that would sort of extricate itself from society of its fellow animals unless they're just simply solitary animals out of shame. I don't know, or shame or fear of that the interaction won't come off the way the animal had hoped. And maybe they do. Maybe all pack creatures. Maybe there are wolves or baboons that exhibit these behaviors that put shoeboxes on their hoofs or their paws.
Yeah, who knows? Probably is more likely to be fear than shame, isn't it?
Yeah, one would imagine.
In the case of an animal. I mentioned my trip to the Farne Islands a couple of episodes ago, which was lovely. But one interesting thing that there is the guillemots, which are a very beautiful black bird, arrive every spring and they land on the cliff, and the whole point is that they're pairing up, they're mating, and so then when they do find a mate, they tend to stick with them, for the entirety of the breeding season. And I just sort of kept looking at the guillemots thinking, what about the ones that don't? What about the ones that sit there on their cliff waiting and just there isn't one for them, because the numbers can't always exactly match up, and they're looking around at all their mates pairing off left, right and centre, and there they are just left sitting on a cliff. What do you do? I mean, I would in that situation vacate the cliff and head out to sea. Who knows, go to my proverbial guillemot hotel, maybe lock myself away. I think it can't be completely unheard of in nature for animals to feel ostracized from their own kind for
their expectations
reasons.
For success in the world were not met.
Yeah.
And then they, fly out to sea or do something.
We need our resident nature experts, the Aveling clan, to assist us in this question of whether animals will kind of become hermits.
Go into voluntary isolation.
Well, the hermit crab, of course.
Yeah, that's true. But so named because he just likes to steal the homes of others.
I was going to say that's not based on the inclination to be solitary.
No.
But it is interesting, that idea of the kind of atomization of society that's happening at the moment due to various things, the internet being a big factor.
Yeah.
And whether, human interaction is becoming less common and it is now possible to live out your entire existence without it.
Yes.
If you so choose. And that's, I don't know what that means for society at large. Does it decrease empathy? Does it,
Who knows? I mean, the question is whether you can engineer simulacrums of the interaction that we're wired to crave that are so convincing that they satisfy the itch entirely. Because it feels like all the things we have now, social media being one of them, don't do that properly. And that's why people end up slightly demented by it. I think all of us know people who have been demented by social media and who have sort of, their way of interaction has been kind of completely twisted by it, because interacting in that way, certainly like the tweet length, just putting out text into the world and then reacting to how people react to that and reacting to other people's utterances. I mean, I've seen it even in captive, small kind of chat groups with friends, how it quickly radicalizes people.
Yeah.
And makes them, crazy. So I guess the question is whether the Tesla bot and the other sort of things that they'll come up to provide companionship to the recluses of the world will be able to meet the standard, or whether they will fail utterly the way social media seems to fail. And
talking of social media, I wanted to do a quick experiment, which was to read out live the things that I see in my X feed now. Because I've increasingly, as regular listeners will know, we took the Two Across account off X. We shut it down.
Huge loss.
Huge loss to
Huge
X.
loss to humanity.
Oh,
frankly.
absolutely. What a void that is left in the Twitter sphere. Okay. But anyway, I still have a personal account, largely because I post links to articles that I've written, and that's really all I use it for. So it's kind of become a posting board. But I find myself drifting onto it as a form of procrastination, really, just to sort of check my home feed. And it struck me increasingly that since the Musk ownership, and I'm sure a lot of people will relate to this, the amount of crap that just pops up in the home feed is just quite extraordinary. And it's a sort of odyssey through everything from, acts of violence that will suddenly get shown to you, to jokes, to news items, but there's no kind of rhyme or reason. So anyway, I'm just, as I say, as a little experiment, maybe to finish us off today, I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing in my home feed to give you a sort of sense of this. Okay, so first thing I'm seeing is from Vic Reeves, the comedian, otherwise known as Jim Moyer. That's his real name. And he's posted a video that says how to impress your grandson with exceptional magic, which is quite a sweet kind of video of him prancing around his house and his grandson laughing, and that's all quite fun. So that's fine, because I must be following him, so that's fine. Okay, next up, someone called Vince Langman is a video. It says, 57-year-old Pamela Anderson at the Met Gala tonight. Thoughts? Right. Okay. Right. So I'm guessing some of those thoughts are not going to be especially positive ones, but that's had 36,000 likes. Okay. The next thing, out of context human race, right, is the account. And it says, she didn't want the shark in her picture. And it's a video of a lady sitting on the edge of a boat with a birthday cake, somehow like fending off a shark. I mean, this is one of the most bizarre things I've seen. Next up is another video of a footballer kissing someone's head. Okay. Next up, an account called Non-Aesthetic Things, which is a oil drum getting crushed in a metal crusher. I mean, it's genuine. It just goes on like this.
Yeah.
A stream of absolutely nonsensical videos interspersed with genuine things from people I actually follow, which pop up every sort of 5 or 6 posts. But the rest of it is just complete, total garbage. And I don't know what it's doing to my brain to be sort of, you know, scrolling through this stuff and seeing these images, some of which, as I've said before, are violent. You know, you'll sometimes see shots of something of somebody getting shot or somebody getting beaten up in the street, and it's like a CCTV camera, and this thing just pops up in your home feed like it's something you might be interested in.
But here's the crazy thing, because you're getting me looking at my Instagram homepage. I always find is kind of crazy. Like, first of all, much of the homepage, and I really honestly, to listeners, I don't think this represents my scrolling on Instagram, because actually I spend no time there, but it is. At least half of it is sort of young girls in bikinis.
Sure.
Just
because it's identified you as a middle-aged man.
Because I'm identified as a middle-aged man.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really don't use Instagram to cruise around looking for pictures of young girls in bikinis. I have a picture of someone power washing, or a video of someone power washing a whale, getting all the barnacles off its back.
Right.
That's kind of interesting. So there's like a whale sitting there. I don't know if it's dead and they're just harvesting it, but anyway, it's being power washed, and that's kind of cool. And then a whole bunch of sort of Trump stuff, and that's about it. And it completely does not align with any of the interests or any of the people I follow, which are mainly just friends, at least on my personal Instagram. And yet it's sort of, this is the entry point to the internet. And it looks like the kind of thing you would have found in the 80s right by the checkout counter at a supermarket.
Yes,
like
exactly
the National
that.
Enquirer.
Yeah.
It's literally garbage for your brain.
It really is. It just doesn't make any sense. By the way, just to round us off and bring us nicely back to the opening topic, the final thing I've seen in my feed is someone called Evan has just posted the video of Carney in the White House with Trump, and he says, we all knew Mark Carney was going to humiliate him, and he did, which has had 28,000 likes, you'll be pleased to hear. So amazing. I had the sense Carney would come out of that, you know, the wider impression would be that he sort of
he didn't need to do anything,
contest.
really.
He didn't need to do anything. He just needed to get that line in.
Yeah, he just needed to get his line in.
Canada is not for sale.
So that was practiced a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
Some places aren't for sale. The White House and Buckingham Palace, where you've been, Donald. Little compliment.
Exactly.
You're special enough to have been there. Just like here. You're special here too.
Yeah. Well, talking of special places and that aren't for sale, it's been a pleasure to have you in my home once again, Rob.
Yes.
On this side of the Atlantic, and I wish you well with your return to terra firma, and I will look forward to hearing all about things back there next week. And thanks for listening, everybody. I think it's officially your sign off, so you should
I shall indeed.
You should take us off back to our doom scrolling
and back to our beginning.
Indeed.
You're inviting me into your living room, and I'm basically boorishly dominating and disrespecting my host. But
Rob. Absolutely not.
I'm going to do that anyway. So thank you, everybody, for being here for our crash back to reality, much like the Soviet space probe that I think is about to crash back to Earth this weekend. That's what we did today. Thank you very much to the Avoir du Poids weight system for making a guest appearance today. That was much appreciated. As always, if you want to get in touch with us, share any thoughts about what you've heard, share some feedback, share some outrage, you can contact us on twoacrosspod@gmail.com. We really thank you for your custom, and we look forward to having you with us next week.